Welcome to the Emotionally Baked podcast, where emotions and baking are the two most perfect ingredients. Hello, and welcome back to the Emotionally Baked podcast, where we bake something yummy all while talking about our emotions in the hopes of baking it out. So welcome back to this next episode. Well, friends, as the title says, tired. I am tired and tiramisu. Now, we're going to do, this recipe is from Yumtastic.com, Yumtasticmeals.com, I believe. I will go ahead and link it below and the recipe. And tiramisu I have made before, but this recipe was a simple, easy way to make it. So this is editing a lot of what you normally think about of tiramisu. So we're going to just do a little, and I might do a little editing because I noticed that there wasn't any coffee in this one. So I might just put a dash of my instant coffee in this mix. So it was super fun to kind of look up and to see if there was an easy way to make tiramisu. Got my tea today. It is cold. And I think this was pretty easy because I didn't have like all the ingredients. I didn't have mascarpone. I didn't have ladyfingers. And you're saying, well, then why did you want to make tiramisu? Well, number one, I needed something to go with the word tired. I know, I'm silly. And number two, we have a lot of snow, and I just wanted a yummy treat for all the hard work we've been doing, which is why I'm exhausted and tired. So yeah, let's just have fun with it and let's see where it goes. All right, so this recipe is basically like a pancake batter, and you're going to layer the little pancakes to make a simple tiramisu. So that's what we're going to do. So the simple pancake batter is egg, milk, oil, flour, little cocoa, some salt, and baking soda. Once we get that whisked up, we're going to go to the stove and we're just going to do like little thin crepe pancakes. See how many we can get out of our recipe. And then we're going to whip up some cream and then we're going to see how it goes. I think it should be good. So y'all, and this tired, I mean, I am physically tired. Like my body hurts. I am tired. We've been doing so much work around the house with the snowstorm. I'm not sure how many of you got the snowstorm that went across, I feel like, the whole United States. And we're supposed to get, somebody said, a foot of snow this weekend on top of what we just got. I'm not looking forward to this. I'm not. We actually didn't shovel out our driveway. We just shoveled like tracks. And that's probably not good. We probably need to shovel, because if you have another foot of snow on top of snow that you haven't shoveled, it's just going to be so much more work. And we have a long driveway. We really do. And yeah, my muscles are already feeling it. Like yesterday we shoveled practically the entire morning. We had lunch, came back. The kids wanted to go sledding, so they went sledding, and I came inside and cleaned up the house, did housework, and the movement of the vacuum and the broom was the same as the shovel, and my arm socket, shoulder socket, this whatever's right here is in a lot of pain. So we're going to reward ourselves with a yummy treat. So I'm going to go ahead and use my favorite bowl. As we know, here we are. And this will be good for pouring out the batter since it has a little spout. And we're just going to whisk these ingredients. Thank you, chickens. They started laying again. It took them a while this year, and I don't know if that means that some of them are getting past their egg years. Makes me sad. I've noticed that my one chicken did not lay at all yet. And I've had her going on 3 years. So I'm thinking maybe she's done laying, but she's like a precious pet now and we can't, yeah. So she'll be here until, yeah. So anyway, all right. So I'm going to go ahead and crack the eggs. Thank you, chickens. Thank you. Into this bowl. I am saving these so that the chickens can have them because they like to eat their eggshells. I know. If you see me doing a little funkiness with the eggs, because I'm trying to half this recipe because I don't need all of this. So that is what's happening. I'm going to a cup of milk. And what else do we got? Ooh, the oil. So this is just like a basic crepe recipe. If you've never made crepes before, basic crepe recipe. Ooh. And crepes are always fun to make. The pan, I don't have a crepe pan. That is one thing I don't have. But if you are handy with a frying pan or like a small frying pan with your mixing, it should be fine. So we're just gonna whisk this up and we're going to whisk in our flour. So we need flour, a little cocoa, and baking soda and salt. And we only need 1/4 teaspoon of those. So not very much at all. So I don't know about any of you, but I am getting to the point where physical, like hard labor, I need to work. My doctor actually told me that I needed to start lifting weights. And I'm a little nervous about it because I am lifting weights just for the strength, it's not lifting weights I don't want to have, I'm not a person who wants muscles. I don't want muscles. I don't want that kind, but just for the strength purposes. And so, yeah, I'm nervous about lifting weights and getting stronger, but I know I need to because it was difficult for me to do the shoveling and I got tired. But I will say, there's my one little bit of flour. But I will say, I didn't feel horrible after I was done. I just knew that it was challenging. I just felt like it was challenging. But that being said, I'm glad that I have been doing my exercising because it felt okay. It didn't feel too bad. So that was good. So yeah, I'm just going to whisk this up with this arm that that has been hurting. So that's I'm not sure if this is good for my tiredness. I'm going to put a little cocoa powder in here because they said they wanted these chocolate. I'm going to save, I don't have very much cocoa powder, so I'm going to save some there for my icing. I'm going to whisk this in. And they're going to be a light color. And then because I didn't do a ton of cocoa, I'm going to put in some coffee. This is going to, instant coffee. This is going to give it that light coffee flavor that tiramisu has. They usually has like a mocha kind of flavor. So hold on. All right, I got my instant coffee here. And the good thing about instant coffee is once it hits the liquid, it will dissolve. And I'm not going to put too much because I don't want it to be overpowering. We don't want that. So I'm going to go ahead and whisk that in. Now this wasn't in the recipe. I'm just doing this because I typically like my tiramisu to have a slight coffee flavor. If you've made tiramisu before, it's usually made with dipping ladyfingers into a coffee or a coffee some type of coffee mixture. I'm not sure if you put vanilla in coffee. I can't remember now, but usually that's how it goes. So I just did a little bit of both, a little chocolate, a little coffee. And it's this nice, pretty brown color. Ooh. So what we're gonna do is we're going to make little crepey pancakes. And yeah, so I'll videotape doing that. It's not gonna be as fantastically fun to watch. I'll videotape one or two, and then we'll come back here and we're gonna do our whipped cream. And that should be yummy. So we're gonna take a pause break here. If you hear a little music, if you're just listening to it like my hubby does on his drives, you will hear some music, and just know that we are frying up our little crepey, chocolatey coffee pancakes. Okay. As you can see here, we are going to go ahead and pour our batter into our hot pan that is greased, and just a little bit of batter. And then what we do is we just swirl the batter around till it really thins out onto our pan. And these fry up super quick. So you can see I just poured it, and then it's literally like it starts to dry around the edges, and we want to just turn them as soon as that starts to happen, and we can do a nice flip. And it doesn't take any time at all to get these crepes ready for the next one. So I'm literally going to just take this one off and keeping that pan hot, and I'm going to just pour the next round of batter right on. So really you got to stay on top of it and stay next to your stove while you're doing all of your batter, because that helps to be successful with all of your crepes. Okay, we have all of our little crepe pancakes made, and we're going to assemble it in a minute. We're going to make our creamy filling. Now, it had doing alternating cocoa and like a pretend mascarpone one, because they just do cream cheese. I don't have enough cocoa powder, so I'm just going to do the plain cream filling. And we're going to use this bowl to whisk in. We're going to just mix our heavy cream, our powdered sugar, and our other to make this filling. One, okay. I measured it like that because why is it again? Oh, I was halving the recipe and I was trying to do the math in my head. What's half of 3/4? I couldn't do that math. I asked Google. Google didn't understand what I said. And so I found a chart in my kitchen that said 3/4 of a cup is 12 tablespoons. So then I was like, perfect. I just need to have 6. So that's why I did that. So I'm going to be whipping the whipping cream and the other 2 ingredients in this bowl and making that filling. So some tips that I was thinking about while I was making the crepes to tell you is that when you make crepes, it is essential that you have your pan warm, and it's also good to not pour a ton of batter in at a time, because they're supposed to be, I just put this all over my pants. Oh my goodness. Oh my word. I'm a mess. And this, friends, is why you wear an apron, so you don't get it all over the place. Don't learn from me. Wear an apron. So those 2 things are really good to keep in mind. Now, when you pour, like if you saw in the video, or if you didn't see in the video, I only poured about maybe a tablespoon or two into the pan at a time. And that's just really to help keep, not being too much batter. And I wanted to make them not huge. I didn't want them to make them a huge crepe. I wanted them to be a relatively round, this size, because I'm actually going to layer my tiramisu in this dish, because the normal that are in the recipe, they are as big as like a plate, and that's how big the tiramisu is. And I just didn't want to make that much. I just wanted to make a small amount. So that's why I made them smaller, just so that I could, just be good on the size. So also another thing that you'll see in my recipes, if this is one of your first times watching, you'll see in my recipes or in my baking, that I sometimes, like right now, I'm super messy. I didn't wear an apron, so everything's all over me. And I picked a recipe that I didn't have all the ingredients for, and that's because I wanted to do the recipe and I'm winging the rest of it, like what I'm about to show you. So I did not have cream cheese, but I have sour cream. And y'all friends, it'll work, because really basically sour cream is already smooth, and cream cheese, it will get there once you beat it up in the mixer, it will become smooth, but you're looking for that kind of sour, tangy kind of consistency. And I know that it's kind of weird to think to ourselves that we're going to use sour cream in a dessert, but it's okay, because I've done this many times. I've used sour cream as a substitute for mascarpone or cream cheese if you don't have it. It's similar in consistency, and it's similar in the sense of it has this like tanginess to it, this kind of bite to it, and it will whip up with the heavy whipping cream into what we want, the consistency that we want. So it's not like I'm putting liquid in there. It's still a pretty solid consistency. So it will work as a substitute for our cream cheese. Now, cream cheese in itself does have like a certain, I feel like, flavor, so it won't have that. But since we're putting the heavy cream and the sugar, I think it'll be okay. Cross fingers. They don't put any vanilla. I'm tempted to put vanilla, but I'm telling myself not to, because tiramisu is supposed to have this type of flavor, this type of like that creamy flavor that's not totally sweet. It's kind of on the more tame side. Yeah, you get the sweetness more from like the ladyfinger cakes and that kind of things in it. So cross my fingers. I believe it'll work, but cross my fingers. Okay. All right, here I am just whipping up the sour cream, the heavy whipping cream, and the powdered sugar, just to make a nice creamy filling. Now the recipe does call for 2 types, cocoa cream and this plain. I just went with plain. I usually don't put cocoa cream into my tiramisu, so I think this will work out just fine. I was just thinking to myself, is this a repeat topic? Is this my first time I have repeated a topic? I really hope not. I'm going to look back and see if I did repeat this topic. If I did, I am sorry, but it's a new recipe because I've never made tiramisu on here. So I have all of my little crepe pancakes. And another thing I was thinking of as well, like when you're making these crepe pancakes, you do have to stay right with the pan. Like I couldn't leave. Like it was like pour stir, flip, done, pour, stir, flip, and they were done super fast. So I really had to stay with it and be consistent and stand there. And yeah, however, it came together super quick, and the cream came together super quick. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna layer that in this little bowl. We're gonna do crepe cream, crepe cream, crepe cream, and then top it with cocoa powder. Oh, I can't speak right now. So being tired, physically tired. So I'm not tired. Maybe I talked about tired, but in a different way. Being physically tired is, I just, my body is telling, I think we have to listen to ourselves, listen to our bodies when our bodies tell us to, like, hey, you've been doing a lot of work and you need to maybe bring it down a couple. Because last night, I'm telling you, I went to bed and I didn't actually like go to bed. I just kind of went there to read and to just sit. And I practically was falling asleep with my book, falling asleep, if I was looking at my phone, because my body was just exhausted from all of the physical labor. And if you have a place where you have to do it yourself, because we live out, we don't have an HOA, we don't have any, we live out by ourselves. And so, yeah, we have to do everything. So yeah, it takes a lot out of you when you're doing it on your own, you're doing it by yourselves. And we even helped a neighbor, because a neighbor had a broken foot. So we had a little help, or extended a little help. Look at this, it's looking so cute. Oh, it's so adorable. And remember, they're not burnt. They're this color because I put coffee and cocoa in them. So yum, yum. So just spreading this cream around every layer, just like that, just spreading it around. The lady in the video on the recipe that I will link, she had a beautiful piping bag. No, not me. I'm just spreading it with my spoon. So yeah. So yeah, physical tiredness is definitely something that I'm trying to help with my exercise that I've been doing lately, and with, just being more conscious of my intake, making sure. I knew yesterday I didn't drink enough water. So today I'm trying to drink enough water just to kind of help me through it all. But yeah, so I'm going to keep layering this until we get a nice all the way till the top, and it should be yummy. Okay, so I've got this whole thing layered. It looks super cute. All that's left to do is just sprinkle the cocoa powder over the whole top. So we're going to do that. I have a tiny little sifter I'm going to use just so that there's no huge clumps. I'm going to scrape some of that out. We're just going to tap, tap, tap. So yeah, being tired and physically tired and having all those, just tired, what should I say, symptoms. I think it's good when our body gives us those symptoms, those signs that, you are probably doing too much. You probably need, look at this. How adorable is that? So cute. I'm gonna stick that in the fridge so that it can really meld together and get all nice and cold and yummy. So yeah, it's good to listen. I mean, it's a pain in the butt to feel tired, because you want to just, I have told my husband, I said, oh, I just wish I could just go for hours, just be able to have the endurance of a, marathon runner and all these things. But even they get tired, and every one of us has our limits, our boundaries, our things. And I think it's good when our body tells us, okay, hey, like you've done a lot and just take a rest, take a break. So last night definitely was my rest, take a break. And this morning I felt it and I am still feeling it. I am sore all over, all the muscles that work when you are shoveling and all the things. So we're crossing our fingers that that I'm not sore tomorrow. I might go ahead and take a bath. Always something to do is we do have a hot tub. However, there's a filter funny on it, so we haven't been able to use it in a while. Would love to use that. That would be amazing. So maybe the bath is a good option. But yeah, no, I'm one of my goals for this year is to get stronger, and meaning just that my endurance can be a longer one. My endurance can be longer. Does that make sense? Like that I can do activities for a longer amount of time. And I've come a long way. 2 years ago when I was at my heaviest weight, before I started losing weight, there were things I couldn't go on a small walk. It took a lot. It took a lot of energy. I just got physically tired. And now that I've lost about, I want to say it's like 80 pounds, I have found myself like I can go longer distances. I can almost walk. I can go almost 2 miles without feeling exhausted, and like that's my long walk type of day. My short walks, I'm usually fine, but I can get pretty good now, which is good. So, and I can do the things that I want to do with my kiddos and stuff, and I'm not as tired. So that's good. So yesterday, I think it was just the physical labor of shoveling just showed me that my muscles aren't there yet. So I'm going to start lifting weights. We have some here at the house, and we have some space in the garage that we've kind of made as a little workout space. So we're going to try that. I'm kind of nervous to try that, but we'll see. We'll go slow. And we'll start with the 1 pound, like anybody should. Start small and go up from there. So that's what we're gonna do. So yeah, and even I think the tired I might have talked about before, it was like I'm tired of everything. I'm just sick and tired. I think that was the other one I did. This one is more physically tired. So yeah. All right. Well, friends, I cannot wait to try this after dinner tonight. I'm thinking of making some type of stew-ish type of thing tonight because it's cold, so I can't wait to have this afterwards. That should be yummy. And yeah, gonna do that. I'll let you know how it is, and hope you try it too. Even if you're tired like me, I'm tired, I'm exhausted. I probably need to go to bed early tonight again, but take some time to treat yourself for the things that we do that are hard. So yeah, so even though I was tired from all the manual labor, gotta have a nice little treat, right? A nice little treat. All right, friends, whether the salt in your recipe comes from tears or a teaspoon, just remember, we baked it out. Bye.